everyone, welcome back to my channel. I know today is Friday and normally I upload a video of a new foundation that I've been testing out for the week for Foundation Friday, but my foundation review this week kind of took a turn. So I'm just going to tell you guys what's coming up tomorrow. So I couldn't put it up today because I kind of switched gears in the middle of it. So I am testing the Lynn Terracotta Foundation. It's a new one. I think it's still only available at like Bloomingdale's and Nordstrom's and stuff like that. I don't think it's available at Sephora just yet. But in the middle of testing this, I have realized that it's reminded me of another stick foundation that is literally like so much cheaper. What I'm talking about is this. This is from Makeup Revolution. This is a $9 stick foundation and I've loved this foundation. I don't feel like this is for everyone. So just wait for tomorrow's video. I do feel like these are very comparable, enough for me to start doing maybe a comparison between the two. So I've kind of switched gears. That video will be up tomorrow. So today I'm going to be giving you guys my review updates. Earlier during the week I checked to see when the last time I did a review update video, and that was back in April. So I do like to do this every so often, just kind of updating you, letting you guys know what products I'm still liking, what products I don't, and all that stuff. Now, I did recently upload a video going through all of the foundations that I have recently tested. I will leave that video up here in the iCards and also a link to it in the description box down below. That pretty much covers all of the foundations that I had been testing, kind of giving you guys my opinion on them. There are a few in here that I do need to discuss. I'm going to kind of get them out of the way. So recently I reviewed the new Juvia's Place foundation and concealer. The concealer didn't work out for me. I have been testing it periodically to try to see if maybe I didn't apply this right, or you know, you just never know. But I am so sad to say this because I really do like this foundation, but it breaks me out. So last week I reviewed the Pure Cosmetics foundation. If you look in that video, you will see I had this huge zit right here on the side of my face. That was right after I stopped wearing this foundation. And so, as you guys know, I suffer from adult acne. I have to be very, very careful with foundations. The other foundation that breaks me out that I absolutely love is this one from Smashbox. This is the Studio Skin 15-Hour Hydrating Wear Foundation. Love this so much, but it breaks me out. I have to be careful with it. And this one definitely breaks me out, which is such a bummer because I do think it's a beautiful foundation, but I just can't wear it. I wanted to let you guys know about that. You know, it is what it is. So I'm still kind of playing around with the Tom Ford Traceless Stick Foundation, but you guys, this stuff drives me crazy because I understand now what it's like. I have never been somebody that struggles with finding the right shade, and I now understand what that feels like because with the Tom Ford foundation, 7.0 was so light on me, and then 7.7 is too dark, so there's no in between. I've had the exact same experience with this. If you guys want to see a full review of this, this is the Tom Ford Flawless Glow Foundation. This is from the new Soleil collection. I'm going to put a poll right up here in this video, and just click the poll, click the iCards, and you'll see the poll in there. But let me know if you guys want to see this because I'm still kind of on the fence. Even though I've been out in the sun and I'm starting to get some color, it's still kind of a little bit dark. Same thing as this. And I'm losing my voice, just FYI. My kids got me sick. I hate being sick, especially at the beginning of summer. Like, it's really stupid, but whatever. I do want to briefly mention the Tom Ford Traceless Concealer. I want to mention the Tom Ford Concealer. I like this concealer, but I don't like love it. Like, it's a really nice concealer, but I feel like the shade's a little bit off, so I haven't been wearing it as much, especially now that I'm going into summer and I'm getting, you know, darker and darker. I kind of feel like this might be something that I will pick back up in the middle of the winter. I might try to get a different shade in this, but I don't know that I love it enough to get another shade. You know what I mean? The other thing I want to talk about is from the Jeffree Star Cosmetics concealer. I freaking love this concealer, but I'm already starting to run out of it. I know that there's not much in here, and I understand that, but I always wipe off my applicator, and even though it looks like I applied quite a bit of concealer, I actually don't. Just because I wipe off enough on the applicator so that I can spread it down, but still not applying a ton. But I'm running through this quite quickly, and that's kind of frustrating. There's just not a lot of product in here. And even though I really love it, even though I really love the product itself, I just don't know that I want to run through my concealers that fast. You know what I mean? Especially when it comes to Jeffree Star Cosmetics, because you never know if it's going to be in stock. You don't know when you can get it. And I don't know. I'm still kind of on the fence about that, even though I really love the formula. I think the formula is really nice. I don't know. Anyway, so that's the 411 on that. The next thing I want to talk about is the NARS Orgasm palette, and I have used the heck out of this palette. I mean, I've dinged it and it's got hairs in it. I love this little palette. I know that this palette was not for everyone, but I like this palette a lot. I really do, and I feel like it's just subjective to people who like cream products and who don't, and I like cream products. And I love the pigmentation. I love the shades. I love the way they look. I love the fact that I don't have to worry about it lifting up my foundation. It looks so natural and so sun-kissed. And you know, I wear this on those days where I'm not going to be wearing a lot of makeup and I just want something on the cheeks to give me some life, but not have anything powder on there, and it's just absolutely beautiful. I still love the palette. I know some disagree, and that's totally fine because makeup is subjective anyway. I like the cream quality in that palette, but I have to tell you, so far to date, this is probably my favorite product for 2019 so far. I love this palette. I'm obsessed, you guys. I'm absolutely, unequivocally obsessed. Natasha Denona knocked it out of the ballpark with this palette. The shades are so blendable, so beautiful. Just, gosh dang, they're so pretty. She did a phenomenal job on this. And it made me realize why Natasha Denona is what she is. Because this palette is perfection. I love it even more than I love the Bloom palette, and I like the Bloom palette. I think it's a beautiful palette, but I don't wear those rosy shades all the time. So this has been one of those palettes that's something I really don't want to wear on a daily, you know what I mean? Because I prefer more of a peachier blush, and this is kind of more of a rosy tone. This one is peach, but it's shimmery, so the only time I want to wear that is if it's over top of like a matte peach blush, you know what I mean? So this one is not like a daily thing for me because it's subject to what look I'm going for at the time, but holy shiskies, this is so pretty. The bronzer is so blendable, so pigmented, so beautiful. Just, the cream product, these two products, like everything in this palette is perfection. I'm obsessed with this palette. Okay, I'm obsessed. The other one I also want to talk about is this from Huda Beauty. I am so glad I did not buy the shade medium. I went into Sephora the other day and I swatched the shade medium and I felt like medium was a little bit too dark. So I'm really glad that I chose shade light because I think that's what made me really love this product. Is I love the tone of this, and I feel like if I would have used the shade medium, it would have been way too dark for me, and I don't know that I would have loved it the way that I do. But I prefer, again, I prefer cream products, and I prefer cream the way that it applies on the skin. I like the way that it looks, and it's easier for me to work with, and I like to contour with cream products. It's just my preference. I don't really love the packaging because you have to kind of line it up perfectly for it to go into place, but I still really like this, and she did a great job on the Tantour contour formula because it's a good product. It really is. Now, the other thing that I've been absolutely loving, now I know that I didn't review this. I actually discovered this and used this in, I think, a Sephora haul video. I love this bronzer. This is a little bit more of a controlled pigment, and you can really build this. I think Fenty did a phenomenal job on the formula. So if you've been considering buying one of her bronzers, like if there's a shade that you're really interested in, I think you'll really enjoy the formula. Can't wait till she releases blushes. That's all I'm gonna say. Like, I cannot wait until she launches some sort of a blush because I will be all over it. The other one that I want to talk about is from Cover FX. You guys, I have been really loving this formula. This is the Monochromatic Blush Duo Matte and Shimmer. And the way I like to apply it is I like to just take a brush and go like in between both of the shades and just kind of do this like motion right here and just kind of softly like build it. And it just is such a beautiful combination. What I like about this is that you can have the matte or you can have the shimmer. You don't have to have both. For those days that you might be adding another shimmer on and maybe you don't want your blush to be too shimmery, or whatever the case is. I like that it's separate, and I think they did a great job on these, and I'm actually going to be purchasing the bronzer because I do want to try the bronzer because I've heard really good things about it. But this is a really, really good formula, and Cover FX did a phenomenal job on this. It was kind of a great idea, to be honest. It's a great idea. Now, the other blush that I also used in some sort of a Sephora haul, this is what I bought during the sale, the spring sale. This is from Hourglass. It's the Ambient Strobe Lighting Blush from Incandescent Electra. Every time I wear this, somebody asks me what I'm wearing. So the other day I went to get my nails done and I had a few errands to run. My nail girl asked me what blush I was wearing, and I went to Ulta to grab a few things for a video that I'm going to be creating here in the next week. And the girl there asked me what blush I was wearing. It was like, holy crap. Like every time I wear this, somebody says, what blush are you wearing? It's so beautiful, because it is a very beautiful blush. The problem is that it's 40 bucks. I don't know that I'm convinced that it's worth $40. I wish that they would provide the smaller mini sizes in this shade, because I think the Incandescent Electra is definitely my favorite shade. I have the Diffused Heat, and even though it's very beautiful, I prefer this shade. It's a little bit lighter on the skin. But, you know, if you've ever used anything Hourglass, like any of their powder products or anything, just really melt into the skin so beautifully. So I really love the shade of this. But I still don't know that I'm 100% sure it's worth $40. You know what I mean? I'm kind of like, oh my gosh, I don't know. Because I'm going to be honest with you, I have worn and loved this one from Milani just as much. So this is the Baked Bronzer in the shade Luminoso, I don't know. Anyway, and I love the shade of this as well. It's so beautiful. And I feel like this one has kind of the same, somewhat of the same type of finish as the one from Hourglass. So this is the Milani and this is the Hourglass. I would say the Milani definitely has a little bit more of like a glowing effect, a little bit more of that kind of diffused glow to it, but it's still a nice option. It's still a beautiful blush, and probably one of my, I love how it matches kind of like the same shade as my necklace. I want a blush in this shade is what I want, but and then it might be too peachy anyway. But I like the blush. I think it's a beautiful blush, and yeah, it's a good blush. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is this from Marc Jacobs. I have been loving this. Now, as you guys know, I love my Charlotte Tilbury finishing powder. This is one of my favorite powders to kind of go over the face. Some people use it to set their foundation. Some people use it as a finishing powder. Even though it says it claims to be a finishing powder, you can use it as either or. I don't recommend baking with it, but it really blurs out imperfections in the skin. But this one I've been carrying in my purse because I really love the brush. The brush is genius. Like, I wish that this came like this, because thing pops up, you stick it down in here, and I just love it. I really do. I don't like this on a daily, like I don't like to set my entire face with this, but I love it as a touch-up. So I've been leaving it in my purse, and I'll just kind of go over. And what I love about the brush is it's the perfect shape and size to kind of get in there and go around my brows. And it's also perfect to do this with it and kind of go around here, right around my nose, where I will get a little bit shiny. And it's such a beautiful formula that it kind of gives you a tad bit of a radiant effect, more so than, you know, the one from Charlotte Tilbury doesn't. This one does, but this is a nice powder to throw in your purse, and I love the packaging on it. It's absolutely amazing, like amazing. Now, the other setting powder I want to talk about is from Jeffree Star, and I really like this setting powder. Even though I really love the Hourglass, which these are the exact same size, by the way. I think they're exactly the same. Pretty close. This one is 10 grams, and this one is 10.5 grams. So the one from Hourglass is just a little bit more than this, but this one is like half the price. And I really like the setting powder. I think it's a good setting powder, and I like the quality of it. I like the scent of it too. It doesn't linger. You know, sometimes you'll have powders that like the scent will just continue to last all day. And that one isn't like that, but I really like it. I think it does a great job. Other thing I want to talk about is this. This is from ColourPop. Now, I know that when I reviewed this, I was going to try and make a dedicated video to doing 3 looks using this palette. And I've never gotten around to it, which I feel really, really crappy saying that. But I still love the crap out of this palette, and it's one of the palettes that got me excited for spring and summer, and it has a special place in my heart for that. But I really love the shades in here. I think they're beautiful, and ColourPop did a fantastic job with this palette, and it's still one of my favorites that I keep picking up and can't put down. The other product that I want to talk about that I recently picked up that I don't know that I've spoke about on camera, but this is from KKW Beauty. This is her, what are these called? Ultra Light Beams. So I got this in the shade Peach. That's what's on my eye right now, right here on my lid. And I really, really like this. I wish it was a little bit more peachy because it's kind of a mixture between a peach and a pink, but I really like this. This is her loose powders. And they're just, you know, I just kind of stick my felt tip applicator down in there and I dampen it first so that it kind of picks it up and sticks to it and doesn't like fall over my face. I do have a little bit of issue with some fallout, but I'll just take like a nice little wispy brush and kind of go up underneath and grab it, and it lifts away really good. And I like that shade, so I did want to mention that really fast. I can't remember what video I discussed this in. So I first bought this concealer. This is from Isla, I don't know. This is the True Skin. This is the True Skin Serum Concealer, and I first bought it in the shade Nutmeg, and it wasn't the right shade. It was way too dark for me. All I know is that the shade is way too dark. Like, I could wear it as foundation, which is the reason why I kept it, because I have been kind of using it to spot treat on, like, you know, pimples and stuff. But I actually bought the shade Yucca, I think is how you pronounce it. I'm not sure. This one is more for my shade, and I really, really enjoy this concealer. It's a very natural concealer. I wouldn't say that it's like a full coverage. I would say it's kind of like a medium coverage, but I've been really, really enjoying this now that I have the right shade. And I've been kind of testing out another concealer that I don't really like. And so I'm excited to kind of go back to other concealers that work better for me. But this one has been a decent concealer. I've been really impressed with it. For those of you out there that having clean ingredients is something that's really important to you, this is a clean brand that's sold at Sephora. I recommend this concealer. It's a nice concealer. I wouldn't say it's like my #1 favorite, but I like to put it on and let it set for about 20 seconds, and then I'll blend it out with my finger. And it's just very natural, very beautiful. It's not thick and it's not heavy. And I appreciate the formula on this. The shades are just really weird. So just know that the shades run really dark. So just know that when you're purchasing that, because it's a little bit too dark, okay? The other thing I want to talk about is my super sponge. When I am testing out new foundation and I do my try on portion and I do half the face with a brush and half the face with a sponge, I don't use this sponge because this sponge is not like a normal sponge. Where it's silicone infused, it applies differently than a regular sponge, and I know that majority of you guys do not have this type of sponge, so therefore I don't use it in those videos. But let me tell you something, I love this sponge, okay? Can't wait to get me another one because it's just been a great sponge. Now, I will say though, I don't know how long I've had it. I've probably had it maybe, 2 months now? And it's starting to break down, meaning that the silicone is not as silicone-y as it once was, because this is silicone infused. This entire ring around it isn't a solid silicone piece, but it's infused into the sponge, which I think makes it very unique. But it is starting to kind of break down a little bit as I've used it, and so I definitely want to pick me up another one, but I still use it, still love it, still a phenomenal sponge. So this is the Charlotte Tilbury. This is the Eyes to Mesmerize. This is the Eyes to This is the Eyes to This is the Eyes to Mesmerize in rose gold, and then this is the Tom Ford Aqua Metal Shadows. Now, I compared these both side by side, and I really like this formula. It's just a little bit easier for me to use. And the reason why I say that is because it's just a little bit creamier, And when I apply it with a brush or my finger, you can do either or. When you apply it, if you get a little bit too thick, like in those creases, you can just kind of like press it in and pull it, and it lasts all day. It's so beautiful. And even though this is absolutely gorgeous, when I look back on the footage comparing these two side by side, I feel like this one gives me more of a youthful look than the Tom Ford one. And I'm not exactly sure why. I did have a few people mention that in the comments section, but I do think that this is a beautiful, beautiful shimmer shadow that is really good quality. So if you guys have been thinking about getting this, I recommend it. It's a very beautiful quality product. I like these from Tom Ford, but I don't know that it's worth that much money. And the reason why I say that is because I don't know if there's many of you out there that like this, but I really like the Huda Beauty Matte and Metal Melted Shadows. In fact, I was wearing this in a video recently, and somebody asked me what I was wearing, and I really like these, and I'm starting to buy more shades because I do like these. I like the liquid side over here. I think they blend beautifully and they apply beautifully. And I also like the matte side where, you know, you can put it just a couple of dots and blend it in with a brush, and it lasts all day long. Like, I don't ever have to mess with it. I'm excited to wear this on those like really hot summery days. Once you put the matte eyeshadow on and you get it blended out, it doesn't budge. It's like budge proof. So I really like these. So in my opinion, I think that the quality of the metal type shadows on this one, the shimmery side, the fracturoni, I can't speak. The shimmery sides on this is, in my opinion, comparable to this formula from Tom Ford. I don't feel like this is worth the money, and that's just my personal opinion. The last product I want to talk about is from Charlotte Tilbury. This is the Dreamgasm eyeshadow palette, and I still like this palette. I don't feel like I love it like I do some of the others, but I do like it. And I don't really remember exactly what I said in my review. I'd have to go back and watch, but bottom line is I don't feel like this palette is like revolutionary in any way. Like, I don't know. I don't feel like I like this palette, and I'm glad I have it because I do know it's limited edition, and I do love Charlotte Tilbury products. So for me, it was kind of like a no-brainer for me to pick it up. But I don't feel like it's a palette that if you don't have it that you're missing out. You know what I mean? I don't feel like it's overly special in any way. It's just one of her quad palettes that, you know, is really, really pretty, easy to travel with, dependable formula, and I really love this beautiful rose gold shade right here. But again, it's in other palettes, so it's like, I just don't know that it's necessary, to be quite honest with you. So, you know, anyway, I think it's a nice palette though. So that's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed this review update. I love you all so much, and I will see you guys right back here tomorrow for my Foundation Friday review. I'm very sorry I had to push it out an extra day, but I think it'll be worth it. So I love you all so much, and I will see you guys in tomorrow's video. Love you. Bye.